Many spend their days passively searching for something interesting to do. Others dig in and find it. While nothing is certain, anything is possible. And the anticipation leads you into action. Because it's here that adventures begin. Stories are unearthed. Secrets are revealed. Fortunes are found. Mysteries are solved. And the past is brought to life. Nothing valued is ever lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. What are you looking for?
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Will you search through the lonely earth for me? Climb through the briar and bramble. I'll be your treasure. I felt the touch of the king.
It's 8 o'clock and I still haven't finished what I was doing yet, but I will in a moment. Good evening, Adrian. How are you?
Evening, David. Evening to everyone in the chat. You all right? I like the background.
Do you like the background?
Yeah.
I like the background. You made the background, eh?
Background. The park. Is that a park?
Oh, right. I thought you meant my background.
Oh, no, it's Rodney Cook. Sorry, I can see.
No, it's the Rodney Cook, silly.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me just write this and I'll be with you.
Oh, got comments appearing on the main screen. That's nice tonight. Hopefully that lasts. That's good, isn't it?
Can't even. What's that? I'm not even writing that word.
You filling in a returns form, Dave, or?
No. I'm sharing the show to Twitter, which I don't use Twitter generally, but I get told off, so I have to do Twitter. So there you go. My seat was stuck then. Anyway, yes.
Well,
Adrian, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, had second COVID.
How are we both really?
No, we're not. I had a second COVID jab like you yesterday, and I was all right. But now I feel just like a bit. I don't think because it was a suppository one. It's a new trial, and it just makes you a bit drowsy. So,
well, especially when it's the size of a pinpoint, definitely.
But it kept falling out, so they had to keep putting it in. But no, just a bit drowsy. But it's better than getting COVID.
It took me out of it completely yesterday. I didn't get off the sofa. I was asleep most of the day, there or thereabouts. But today, a little bit better. But and I wouldn't have been in work tomorrow anyway because of the working hours at the moment have all changed due to the world as we live in. So good evening to everybody who's already joined us in the chat room. If you would be so kind, would you consider sharing the show link tonight, either the YouTube link on social media, or if you're watching on Facebook, if you could share that as well. And obviously that gets around to as many people who are interested in watching the show as we can, because tonight's guest, we're going to be talking a lot about the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally coming up in September. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will be, I've trapped my hand, a lot of people who will be, you know me, who will be going to the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally who would like the information. And obviously, we're going to be talking with Gary about one of the new coins that he's discovered recently. And when I say new, I mean new to numismatics in general.
Very interesting. In this month's Treasure Hunting magazine, Gary's
in this month's,
I don't need to show the front cover. Yeah,
Treasure Hunting magazine.
Yep.
Out today with
move on. Yep,
the world's #1 tester of machines.
Yeah, with me, Root Assault. That was 2 years ago, I think. Root Assault 71 in long grass again. That's when there wasn't much land available. Like now, it's all disappearing, isn't it? So
it certainly is.
Yeah,
I was going to say something dead interesting then, and it's just gone. Before we go, Before we start, I'll do a few parish notices. The first one, Team Detectable, Karen Mark. Congratulations to them, and a huge well done. For raising up to now. We've done the last of the 3 competition shows on Saturday night, and up to now they've raised a grand total of around £4,000 for Renee Grove Hospice.
Well done.
That's obviously going to be hopefully going up more in the near future via the Detectable in June. The Evo has been recalled by Seascope. For those of you who don't know, if you can look on the Seascope social media accounts, you find details on how to send that back. There's been some issues, and they're in the process of wanting to sort that out. On our website, the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine website, this one here, which you can also get on apps, Google Play or Apple. We've got about 12 to 15 new articles coming in the next week. Today, there's been 2 gone up. One is Jason Jones's recent, again, new to numismatics in this country, King Stephen Penny. The second one he's had, and the second rare type. Additionally, there's one just gone on this evening at 7-ish from Luke's Peaky Finders group, who have started their weekly digs again. Staying to the rule of 6, etc., within government guidelines. And Adrian, fantastic video. I mean, Luke preempted me on what was going to be going on because the group, their new site that they're on, it's had a number of ponds dredged, and some of the things, and I'm not even talking metal detecting, things that people finding in the ground walking across the field, and I'm even talking livery buttons and medals and coins off the top of the ground, not let alone bottles and clay pipes and such like. Really fascinating. So that's up tonight on there as well. And I've got to do another one. Luke taught me something that I didn't know yesterday. You know this north-south divide, the one north of Watford Gap, your south, where we're all pansies who drink watered down beer and pay £8 a pint for it. That one. Do you know how the term north-south divide came about?
No.
This is dead interesting. Up here in the north, we had all the industry, chimneys and all that malarkey going up in Bolton and Birmingham. All the really bad smog was up in the north. And the owners of said plants all built their house to the south because the wind in England goes from south to north. So everything was blowing further north. So London was where all the rich people were living, all these owners of industry and such like, because it was south of the smog. And also they built the houses so the smog didn't come towards them. North-south divide. How'd you like that?
So it is better down south then? Better air and stuff?
Better beer. Closer to... I like that one. I like that one. 100%. Yeah, because you're all drinking Stella Artois and crap from France, where we have proper John Smiths.
No, you drink John Smith's Shandy.
Shandy.
But no, we've got loads of craft beers now. They're everywhere. Well, they were until the pub shut, but the tap rooms they have, craft beer pubs, there's loads of them. Everything's like 6, 7%, 8%. It's all
£18 a pint as opposed
to
it's not.
It's not. It's £16. No, it is dearer. But we have nicer glasses. You drink out of like Tupperware cups and pints.
No, we drink out of pint glasses because we're like proper
and tankards. Right. Sorry.
Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah, so the south's better. Yep.
So, without further ado, we'll bring in tonight's guest, Mr. Gary Cook. How are you, Gary?
Fine. How are you?
And Gary tonight has an Ethernet connection that will not jump out, and he'll be, instead of doing his best Norman Collier impression, he'll be talking to us constantly.
I know. That was bloody terrible last time, wasn't it? Oh, dear. I think we had a mixture of atmospheric conditions, my really crap internet connection, and possible alien invasion as well, I think, which was attacking us from all angles. So we didn't really have a really good night, did we, if I remember?
I think, to be honest, though, Gary, I mean, in the past year especially, we've noticed doing the show that a lot of guests' internet has been crap because of the amount of people who are actually on the internet at this time of the night. And I don't think it's been able to keep up, to be honest. And obviously, when things do get back to whatever they become back to in the near future, hopefully that'll settle and shows will again be as good as we possibly can.
Well, computers hate me as well. There's always that.
you said to me this afternoon, as long as we don't have any storms, we've had about 43 where I live today. Honestly, we've had we've had sun, we've had blistering heat, we've had hail, we've had snow, we've had pelting rain, we've had absolutely everything.
The weather's ridiculous at the moment, isn't it? You know,
it is mental.
It's quite scary for rally organisers as well, because the colder it is at this time of year, and we haven't had an awful lot of rain. I think my nan used to sing a song with like March winds, April showers, brings around May flowers or something like that. And obviously April's meant to be a wet month, and we've had hardly any rain at all up until the last day or so. So if the harvests are going back because the crops haven't, they've sort of like planted the ground and the crops haven't taken and the seeds haven't germinated properly, it can put things back by a few weeks for harvest. And of course, that's the last thing we want, because we book all our rallies in just after harvest. And if the harvest is late, then people turn up to the rally and we've only got half the fields that we promised, And it's trying to sort of explain to somebody that, well, it's crop rotation, it's the weather. We can't do nothing about it. You know what I mean? We can organise pretty much everything apart from the weather. And we can't guarantee fines either,
Well, it's funny you should say that, Gary, because near me, the fields, it's like the summer. They've got the water spraying on the fields, and it's just because it's so dry.
Yeah.
Went out this weekend, and it was shocking. It was like desert. It really, really was dry.
But it's hardly any rain at all in April. Normally, if you're putting in spring barley or you're putting in that sort of stuff, it usually goes in March. Then they expect you to have a decent rainfall in April, which is traditionally like that song. So you get a good rainfall in April, seeds germinate, and then the cycle goes through. But at the moment, because there's been so little rain, and even the rain we have had hasn't really penetrated that much. If you dig, like when I was out the other weekend, you dig an inch or two off the top and it's bone dry underneath. So there's not been enough rain to really soak in. And obviously, it's a nightmare, not just, obviously for the farmers, it's even worse. But for rally organisers, it can be a bit of a scary moment. You're sort of praying for rain because you want the harvest to go through its cycle as normal. So, of course, most of the crops will come off in August, end of August sort of time, ready for us to do our rallies in the first couple of weeks or so of September. And if it's all put back by a couple of weeks, it can make a hell of a difference, to having so much land to go on and whatever. So, yeah, I don't think, unless you actually organise rallies, I don't think people realise how tense and nervous you are for from now all the way through to your rally's over with. It's quite a nervous sort of thing to be in.
Adrian.
Yes,
Adrian.
Dave? Yes.
Gary said penetrated.
Oh dear.
I'm going to have to start writing these down. We're going to have some form of league table for this, aren't we?
It's like a carry-on film.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the ground when it's moist and wet.
I'm not saying anything.
It's so much easier to dig. Yeah, we should actually go
and penetrate.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You also get to go deeper as well, better penetration.
You mean when you're pushing down on the shaft of your spade into the ground?
Luckily, I've got a really strong shaft, so I didn't have any problems this weekend.
I also have a strong shaft.
Right, we should move on, Dave.
Yeah, before it starts to get worse.
So
because it's not 9 o'clock yet.
Yeah.
We've got to get past the watershed first.
Talking of getting certain things removed and blocked, last week's show unfortunately had to be removed due to a copyright claim because of a certain gentleman's video that we played. Yes, you, Rob. And tonight, the viewers' fines video I uploaded onto the ArcMD Mag TV today and had a copyright strike straight away. So tonight's viewers' fines will be sung along to as opposed to having a backing track. Just to preempt.
We should ask Chris Rogers, addicted to bleeps, to do us.
Absolutely.
He's a specialist on his bass guitar and stuff. So maybe we should get him to do it. We'll get him on soon, and he could do a song for us.
I can play the spoons.
I eat cake with spoons.
I won't go on about playing with things because that will go wrong. I'm good at that, but I won't go on. Sorry, why is Gary on tonight, Dave?
Because he's a guest, mate. He's a guest.
What's he going to talk to us about? Not the weather. Well, he could. How was the weather in December where you are, Gary? No, I was joking. Sorry. We could, sorry. So here to talk about Rodney Cook.
I told you we weren't great. We just get delirious and silly when we're not great.
I was going to say, yeah.
Let's stop it now. Slap on your wrist, Adrian. So anyway, Gary, we've got a lot of your recent finds, one in particular to have a look at a little bit later on. But tell us where we're up to with, we obviously discussed rallies, and it's the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally coming up in September. Where are we with that now?
Well, we're moving forward really well, actually. I had funny enough, me and Dave Crisp had a meeting with the estate on, what was that? What day are we on now? Thursday. That was on Tuesday. We went over to have a quick catch up and chat, and obviously COVID restrictions allowing in things. And I met Dave there, and whatever you've got to comply to at the moment. But we had a good meeting with the landowners. Everything again is in place for this year. Touch wood. We don't have third waves and whatever else we can be thrown at us. But as it is at the moment, obviously we're taking bookings. Obviously the site is the same site as what we were going to use last year. We've just moved it to this year. It's a fantastic site. As everybody knows from the adverts, it's near the town of Marlborough in Wiltshire. And Marlborough you only have to look up the history of the area to know that it's full of history, really. You're not a million miles away from Iron Age settlements and Roman settlements, and obviously there's the major Roman town of Canetio just down the road as well, and the road that we're not too far away from is a major Roman road. So we've got a lot of history there. A bit of a coup getting this estate really to be used for a rally. So we're quite pleased with that, and hopefully, I'm not guaranteeing it, but hopefully we'll expect some fines. Booking wise, it's going exceptionally well. We've got a lot of people obviously who booked from last year, continuing their tickets over to this year, which reminds me, actually, if there's anybody out there who still hasn't told us what they're planning on doing with last year's ticket, if they're coming or not, you really do need to let us know ASAP, because there will be a cut-off date for people telling us if they're going to reuse their ticket or not. We have emailed everybody. Everybody would have received an email requesting what you're going to do with your ticket. If we haven't heard anything by a cut-off date, which we will announce soon, you will automatically be issued with a refund. We will assume that you're not coming, and rather than things turn funny, we would just say, okay, if you haven't told us by a certain date, we've got people waiting in the wings who want to come. We think it's only fair that you give you all plenty of notice to let us know. You will get a backup email sent to you reiterating, you haven't told us what you're doing. And then we will have to just automatically issue a refund to you guys, unfortunately, because obviously we can't afford for you just not to turn up, and there's spaces available, we could use for other people. So, because at the moment, we've only got about 40 weekend tickets left. That's all there is. And we'll be sold out for the weekend tickets. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking of coming and you're not too sure, then you better hurry up, because it's going to be sold out very, very soon. There will be day tickets available, but if you want to come for the full weekend, you better get your backside in gear, because we really have only got less than 50 spaces available now for full weekend tickets. And the camping's filling up very quickly, as you can imagine, as well. So it's going really, really well. As I say, most of the hard work had been done last year, the marquee and everything else. The only things we've got to do differently this year is obviously be a little bit more COVID compliant. We're still waiting to see exactly what the rules will be, because obviously, according to Boris's roadmap, on the 21st of June, all restrictions are lifted, so they say. Things will be getting back to some form of normality. So, we're going to wait and see what they are, but we will still have hand washing stations in place. There's a possibility, we're not sure yet, but there's a possibility that people will have to show their proof of vaccination, either by the app or by their cards and stickers or whatever it is they were given at the time. There's a possibility we may have to ask for that, and it might not, it might be government decide that we have to do that. And anyone who hasn't got proof that they've been vaccinated will have to take a test, one of these, instant result testing things. And obviously, if you test positive, you won't be allowed into the site. But as I say, we're not 100% yet on that. All that will come to light as the weeks and months go by.
And how is it best that people contact the Rodney Cook team?
The best way is to email. All correspondence with Rodney Cook are done by email, literally because we get inundated with so much. You wouldn't believe the amount of messages that we get on Messenger with just random messages like, where is this and dates, please, and that's it. No, please, no, thank you. So we have an automated message now on Messenger saying, any questions, please email Lisa at charitydetectedevent@hotmail.com, which is the standard email that we've used from the very beginning of the Rodney Cook. And Lisa then goes through them and responds to them as in when, she can. What people don't realise is it's only myself and Lisa really, who does all of the booking in, and she does all of the emails and she responds to most of the emails. So, it's a lot of work for her. She works full time at a school as well, so she's under a lot of pressure there. So, if you don't get a reply straight away, it's not because we're being rude, it's because we're exceptionally busy and we have other things in our lives going on as well. Recently my mother, as many of you have seen, has had a triple heart bypass. And so, of course, that put paid to a lot of things for me. I've lost one parent in the last few years. I'm not prepared to lose another one. So, she's been quite ill, and she's had angina, and then she was rushed into hospital, and she's had to end up with a triple heart bypass. So she's recovering now. She's doing fantastic. Bless her. She's doing really well. But of course,
sorry, Gary, to interrupt again.
No, that's all right.
The email address to contact you, is it Lisa at Charity?
No. Sorry,
no, it's not.
Probably my mistake. It's simply Charity Detecting Event. That's all one word with no spaces at hotmail.com.
Charity Detecting Event at hotmail.com.
You got it.
Marvelous.
Gary, how many day tickets do you envisage will be available?
Well, good question. We've sold. There's going to be 850 weekend tickets. Have already gone. Apart from, as I said earlier, 40 odd. So we're going to probably look at limiting day tickets to round about another between 50 and 100 a day. It all depends on how much land we've got available. And like I said earlier, that all depends on harvests and chatting to the estate farmers, what they're going to get ready for us. We've got a minimum acreage promised to us. So we've got more than enough to cover the weekenders. It all depends on how many people want to come for the day.
Right.
I keep wanting to say last year, 2019, we only had probably 50 extra tickets a day for day passes. And that wasn't because that was all we limited it to. That's purely what we sold. Because most people want to experience the Rodney Cook for the full weekend, and you've always got that issue, haven't you? Do I come Saturday? Are the fields going to be better and produce more on the Sunday or the Saturday? Oh, sod it. I'll come for the whole weekend. At least then I get a chance to go on try out most of the fields, And,
how much will a day ticket be, Gary?
The day tickets, I think the weekend tickets we were selling for 55, and I think the day tickets are going to be 30, 35 pounds. Let me just check. I'm not very well organised, am I? The advert's in the mag. There you go. £30 day tickets.
Bargain.
Yeah.
I said that first. I said it first, not you.
2 pints of beer down south. That's
Pretty much, yeah.
So, with regards to the camping, obviously, hopefully, the guidelines will be lifted and people will be able to do more. So, because Dave bought a wigwam. What was that?
Not my dog.
That's my dog's barking for some reason.
Oh. Dave brought a wigwam from Argos, and it's only one man, and I'm sharing it with him. So, would social distancing come into account there, or would that not bother?
The thing is, we're up in the air, aren't we, at the moment? Because nobody really knows what is actually going to pan out and how it's going to pan out. The government have said that restrictions according to the roadmap, and providing everything goes how they want it to go, and the right amount of people have been vaccinated and yada, 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 that all restrictions will be lifted on the 21st of June. And we read that all social distancing restrictions, all form of group gatherings restrictions will be lifted on the 21st of June. But I think there might be still certain things in place for large group gatherings, and this is the grey area. We don't know how we will be classed, whether we will be classed as just a gathering or a large gathering, and what they determine to be a large gathering. To some of us, a large gathering is more than 40 people, but to the government, a large gathering could be Glastonbury-style people, or Reading festivals, or pop concerts, or Wembley Stadium. They might just look at us and it's 1,000 people. Most of them are outside all day. It's, no restrictions going to be there at all. So Dave Crisp, being Dave, regimented Dave, is working on worst case scenario, as he always does. So he will be working on the fact that you still have to have social distancing in the marquee. Masks might still have to be worn. So we're having a separate marquee put up for eating and drinking in from the food hall. So we can mix and match and work things out as the weeks and months progress, so we know where we stand and what we're going to be able to do and what we might not be able to do. We're hoping that we can just crack on and carry on as normal and let people decide for themselves. If you want to social distance yourself and keep away from big groups, by all means. If you want to wear a mask all weekend, do it. We will have hand washing stations on site. We will have places where you can go and sort of keep yourself at a distance, and we'll put tables and chairs out there. If you don't want to come into the marquee and listen to the band and whatever else entertainment we've got, it's entirely up to you. But as I say, the government will release everything. I've just seen that Karen has said anything over 4,000. So if that's the case, then we won't have any restrictions at the Rodney Cook, because obviously we'll have a maximum of with traders and marshals. I suppose we will have under 1,200, 1,300.
That's good. So Dave, you won't have to take that wigwam back to Argos. we can still get in it. People will see it. It's pink. It's very small, very, very small.
It's pink and it's small.
Yeah, your wigwam.
That drug really has affected you, Dave.
It's pink and small.
Yeah. So, no, I just wonder, it's so many little things like that. Like you say, Gary, you don't know, do you, until the day. But fingers crossed with the way the jabs are going and hopefully the death rate falling. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. You're bang on. And obviously, by September, the chances are that most of adults over 18s would have had their first, or they're hoping that by September, maybe the majority of us would have had our second jabs by then. And things will be sort of coming back down to earth. It won't be such a shock to the system is what we've been having for the last sort of year or so. So, as I say, compared to where we were this time last year, where it was all negative and we got no chance, and you're clutching at straws. I remember having around about this sort of time of year having a good old chinwag with Karen and Mark from Detective Hall, and we were on the phone together for probably an hour or so, getting really depressed and fed up. Whereas now we're a little bit more optimistic about the two events, because obviously Detective Hall and the Rodney Cook run adjacent to each other. They're always the week after each other. So we work, and I work very, I chat to Mark and Karen a lot, about the rallies, and we're discussing different things and that with them, and this time last year,
I mean, hats off to you. So
very depressed.
A lot of people would have just thrown the towel in and said, "Oh no, leave it, wait another year," because you're organising, same as Karen and Mark, you're organising an event blind, and like you said, you've got best case scenario, worst case scenario, and you've got to almost double plan for everything, haven't you? So it's hard work. So, what sort of is you got any confirmation of manufacturers attending, or
the usual people? There will be XP in attendance as always. Gary Blackwell, friend of mine, as you all know, So he will be in attendance there with XP. Obviously, you will have Garrett. We're supposed to come over last year with some of their YouTube guys and some of their TV show people. They're hoping to come over again this year, or depending if they're allowed to travel or not. I presume they would be able to, because they could class it as work. So they'll be there. We will have traders there. Pete Terrell from Leisure Promotions will be there again, supporting us. Regden will be there supporting us again. And as I say, Treasure Hunting Magazine, the Searcher Magazine, you guys, obviously you guys there. Yeah, I heard the cough, Dave. Yeah, I was getting to you last because you're special. Yeah, you're obviously, you guys are going to be there running around, viewing people and doing your thing. And all the other manufacturers have promised. Well, I say they promised last year. I can imagine they'll do the same. We'll be giving prizes, and as I say, they're all welcome. Brutus will have promised to come, and Mind Lab has said that last year we're offering prizes, and Nocta Macro. So we're hoping that as many of them can come with travelling as they can. But if they can, but they make donations to the raffles, then we will do our utmost to put as much advertising out for them as we can. But like I've always said, the difference with the Rodney Cook Rally is obviously, everybody should know by now, it's purely for charity. Nobody takes a wage. Nobody makes any money out of it. Obviously the traders and people like that do, that's their job. But they all make donations to the event in their own special way, in different ways. But because the fact that it's charity, we like to use the terminology supporters. We don't like using the word sponsors, because it tends to favour other manufacturers over other manufacturers. And we're about all coming together as a group of people to raise money for exceptionally good causes. We're known to raise money for cancer, because obviously the situation with my late father, bless him, who died of cancer after a real hard battle. And obviously that's the reason why the Rodney Cook bears its name after my dad, and the reason why it evolved into something like it is now. It's because so many people wanted to support it, because it's one of the largest rallies in the UK now, and it's probably one of the largest rallies that raises money purely for charity. So far we've raised over £100,000 for cancer charities with all of our one dayers. Probably 100, if we counted all the one dayers up we've done in the past and the weekenders, it's probably getting close to about 115,000 that we've raised. And we're hoping this year that we're going to smash the target that we've set ourselves, and we really want to go hell for leather to try and beat the target of 2019 that we did. And as I say, we like the terminology supporters, because it's a rally where we can all come together as a family, I suppose, if you want to use that word, and forget about rivalries between manufacturers. Forget about my metal detector's better than your metal detector, and why are you using that for? That's crap. You should be using one of these. We don't have any of that. It Rodney Cook. It's a fun, great weekend to come together. And yes, the manufacturers are there, and the retailers are there, and the trade guys are there to make a bit of money. I wouldn't expect otherwise. But for us, it's all about raising money and forgetting about rivalries and everything else. Just trying to raise as much as we can for some fantastic charities. Children's leukemia, cancers, and cancer care, places where families can go, and have somewhere nice to sit down and soak in awful news and good news sometimes, and that's what we do it for. And as I say, everyone who helped me, they're all they do it out of the kindness of their heart. I've got so many fantastic friends in the hobby, and many, many other friends who come and help, and they donate their time for free. They don't ask for anything. They don't want anything. They just want to be part of it. And it's like I've said to you guys many, many times before with the Rodney Cook. It never ceases to amaze me, the support that I get given for an idea that I had in my head once to do maybe a one-day event to try and raise a bit of money has grown so much over such a short space of time to something as big as what it is. It freaks me out sometimes. It really does. I'm thinking, my God, I don't want to let anybody down. I want the crops to come off in time. I want the stubble to be flattened down. I want the guys to come in as a detectorist myself, knowing what I would, I would like from the perfect rally, a Carlsberg rally. I try, my fellow organisers, and Dave and Lisa and Gordon and Steve and Neil, all of them. I don't want to forget to mention someone, but every one of them we try so hard to give you the perfect weekend. And sometimes we can't guarantee the weather. We can't guarantee the crops are going to come off. We can't guarantee that the farmers have time to do all of the stubble. And it's so difficult to try and get everything in place. And you do get the occasional moaner and groaner, "Oh, we've done fun nothing this weekend," or, the stubble's a bit high. Sorry, mate. There's not much I can do about it. And it's, yeah.
Sadly, we've been on the news tonight. I'm in the northwest, Bolton, having to have surge testing go on because of the steep incline of cases that are being reported, and also the new variants there. So I'm hoping that's just one particular place, and these injections that me and Adrian are suffering from don't have that countrywide.
On that note, Gary, I don't keep up to date too much with the news unless it's sort of about metal detecting or in a magazine. Will there be any of our overseas friends coming?
There, hopefully, because normally at Dad's Memorial we have people from all over. We have people from America, we have people from Australia, Canada, all over Europe, and so again, a lot of them have got tickets pre-booked. They've had them from last year, and some of them, bless them, are amazing. They'll well, if we can't come, just take the money and use it for your good causes, and we'll buy a ticket next time when you can hold it, and which is incredible.
That's lovely. Yeah, it's nice, but
it's lovely, and hopefully, if the restrictions and travelling is allowed, then yes, to answer you. Yeah.
The only reason I ask is we've seen a surge in Germany and other countries in Europe where they may be restricted to travel to the UK at that point of time. You don't know. So in theory, there could be more tickets available.
Yeah, obviously, if this is what I was reiterating earlier on about people who have tickets and they haven't told us what their plans are to do with them. And I completely appreciate that some of those people would have been from abroad and they simply do not know. So we have to be a little bit more, I suppose, forgiving with those because of that. We can't expect them to make a decision on something that they don't know themselves. There will be some who maybe feel that they don't want to come because it's not safe, possibly still, and they make a decision themselves. All we're asking is that if you have guaranteed yourself that you're not going to be able to make it, could you please let us know, and let us know as soon as you can, because we have got people. I can see a waiting list coming into the Rodney Cook very, very soon, because every time that the adverts go out or we put a post up, we have a surge of bookings, and it's going to get to the stage very, very soon that as I say, we've got less than 50 weekend passes now. So if you want to come, as I say, get yourself booked on, but it's not going to be long before we're going to be saying to you guys, we're really sorry, but you can go on a waiting list, and it will then be a first come, first served basis, which is only fair. So this is why I'm saying again to people, if you haven't told us yet, please don't leave it for any longer than what you have to, because we can either we would issue you a refund, and we can then use that place for somebody else who can make it.
And if for those who are watching who've not heard of Rodney Cook, which sorry, I don't know what I'm doing.
You having an earthquake in the
yeah.
Chelmsford?
No, yeah. Those who
there's a natural disaster you were on about, Gary.
yeah.
That hasn't knocked me Wi-Fi out.
Those who don't know about Rodney Cook, who are watching this live or on YouTube, the Facebook page and sites where they can find out more about it.
Yeah, all the information they need really is on the Facebook page. We've been saying this for a while. We've been trying to get a website up and running, and it's proved to be quite difficult. Yeah, John has got a mate who's supposed to be doing it, and he's apparently he was supposed to be talking to him this week. But if it hasn't materialised in the next couple of weeks, I might be contacting you to do it.
That's right.
Because we have struggled with that, and COVID sort of like knocked us back a bit, and everybody who was doing the website, the company we were dealing with, suddenly they all started working from home, and then we lost contact with them. Half of them were out for, I don't know. So it sort of put it on the back burner a little bit. But obviously with social media, as powerful as it is, certainly with Facebook, and obviously the magazines the adverts go into the magazines, and word of mouth, and people just rebooking from previous years. We never really have an awful lot of issues with filling the Rodney Cook. But if people want to really find out about it, then just go onto the Facebook page at the moment, if you've got social media.
When you're all sorted, Gary, we'll certainly stick a link on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website as well. So obviously there's a permanent fixture to people to find out more. Yeah. Now listen, I'm just going to have a couple of minutes break because I promised to play James Baum's new trailer for his up-and-coming next episode of Rambles Through History. So Luke, run VT. Now,
to remember a fantastic man. And that man was my dad. And he died from cancer almost a year ago today. We decided as a group of friends we were going to do something, and we wanted to not only remember Dad, but we also wanted to make some money for cancer care.
Yeah, brilliant. Really good. Good sights. Yeah, good land. Brilliant. Lots of room.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was great, the way that we had the barn.
Yeah, that was
and
brilliant.
the bar, of course, and the pizza's pretty good as well.
In fact, it's probably the best organised one I
Great idea from Gary to do this. What a fantastic event it's been, and all the support we've had has made it very special.
Ian, would you come back next year?
Oh, definitely. So we booked my holiday for next year again. So especially if they could like a bit too good last year.
It's my first silver unit. So thanks, Gary.
Here we are, it's coming to the end of the rally. It's been an exceptionally successful weekend. We've had an amazing time. We've raised an amazing amount of money, nearly £27,000 so far, and that's just the up-to-date count. I want to thank all the marshals who've helped in everybody in any way, shape or form. Whatever they've done, it's been absolutely awesome. Dave, what do you think? Brilliant, isn't it?
Brilliant rally. The people that come were really good, really fantastic, good humoured. They took the rain yesterday and the sunshine today. The farmer, the landowner, has been fantastic to let us use his land. Yeah. And everybody's had a great time. And overall, the main thing is that we've raised all this money for charity.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. Get together to raise money for charity.
I'm glad you mentioned the landowner, because Ian is the landowner. He has been he's the reason why we're here. Without him, none of this would ever have happened. And I just want to say, Ian, thank you so much for all of your help. You have been absolutely incredible, and I mean that.
Okay.
And shake my hand as well.
Yeah, okay. No, it's been absolutely fine. You've been very well behaved. You've had no incidents.
We've enjoyed seeing you here. Obviously, you've put up with an awful lot of rain and muck.
I think that's
We're used to that. I don't know how used to that you are. But luckily, you've had somebody dry to get in the meantime, I think. Possibly if you were in a field in a tent, I think this weekend would have been a bit of a disaster. Probably.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased it's all gone really well. And you found some stuff, which is good.
Yes, we've had some great finds. We've had Roman brooches, we've had Roman coins, we've had Celtic coins. We've had some amazing finds this weekend. And to finish off, you know what? It's all been for charity, and we've all worked exceptionally hard, and we're very, very tired.
Fantastic video. Oh, am I muted? Oh, he's unmuted me. Fantastic video, that, Gary. Absolutely fantastic.
That brings back memories. That was the very first one.
Got away there, mate.
You weren't as grey then.
Yeah, I almost did. Take these off, I'll race you again then.
Cheered. But a roller coaster ride looks off
Luke,
the
what are you
cards
doing
tonight.
They're down there. I'll tell you what, there's one thing, Gary, which was lovely, was Ian, the landowner, because you're right. Yeah. Without him, none of that would happen. And I think a lot of people forget that with rallies. It's not as if you own all that land. Well, if you did, you know, idiots with bloody metal detectors on it is quite a great thing. But we're a well-behaved bunch, most of us. So, it's very nice of that, Ian, to let everyone on because he's played as well.
Ian is still a friend now, and I remember the Friday setting up. We didn't need a marquee or anything because he had this huge converted barn that he uses for weddings, and he said you can have it, use it. There's a bar area, there's a stage. He provided all of the equipment for the disco and everything. You know, there was toilets out there as well. It's all on hard standing, and he just said, you just use it, just crack on and use it. So, you know, we didn't have to hire a marquee or anything like that. And it was just the weather on this, everyone who attended it would know that, you know, the Friday, glorious sunshine, beautiful. Saturday, we woke up and by about 11 o'clock, it absolutely, I'm not going to swear, but, you know, it hissed down. Absolutely. And it didn't stop all day. And people were just going out and, you know what, sod it. And they got a bit wet, but there were some amazing finds coming up. And on the Saturday night, Ian came in and was putting heaters out, portable heaters all over the place. Certain ones he used to use for heating his grain stores and things, and he was laying them all out and trying to warm people up and get them all, you know, all the ladies were sort of like huddling around these heaters and warming up and drying out, and it was real good camaraderie weekend that one. And on the Sunday, the sun came out and we had a glorious sort of rain-free day from about 10 o'clock. It was bright blue sunshine, as you can see on the video. You know, the Friday it was relatively sunny, and then the Saturday in the video you can see the rain, people getting wet, and on the Sunday when they were doing the aerial bits, it was again glorious sunshine. So it was a great camaraderie one, that one, and you know we all got wet and cold on the Saturday, but we all mucked in and got on with it. Really, there's nothing you can do. It's like I said at the very beginning of the show, we can't guarantee the British weather, I'm afraid. You know, if we could all plan our rallies and have glorious weekends, but unfortunately it doesn't work out like that. So you take the rough and the smooth in our hobby, don't we? And you either go out and carry on and metal detect and put your waterproofs on, or you don't. It's up to you, you know. And we were lucky last year that we had glorious sunshine all weekend. And
you're right. You can't predict the weather, but talking about going out, not coming out, Dave, going out. You been out much, Gary? Because I see you might.
Everybody knows that I got a detecting buddy, Steve Murty. He's a fellow Rodney Cook organizer, and we share most of the land together that we have. You know, we've been detecting his mates for quite a long time. And obviously there's other guys that we detect with as well. My mate Bren and Neil Cleveland. Obviously Gary Blackwell pops over and as a detect with us sometimes. And obviously during lockdown and restrictions, it's been sort of going out when we can and when we're allowed. And then obviously once the rule of 6 came in that you could meet 6 outside, then we all arrange a place to meet. And we all take our own vehicles and do what we have to do in the field, whatever it allows. And recently, obviously, we've been allowed to sort of go back out again. And so we've been getting together as friends and doing some detecting. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Have you found anything, Gary?
I've had a few things. I've actually not had a bad season really this year. I've been exceptionally
What
lucky.
have you found, Gary? What have you found?
I've had a Roman brooch. I've had some hammered. Oh, and one find.
One find in
very,
particular.
very.
Luke,
Yeah.
could you please share the screen? Would that be it?
That's the one. I've been exceptionally lucky to find a denarius. If Luke turns it round the other way, it shows the obverse.
That's me doing it, not Luke.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
I don't know what day it is.
No, that's not it, mate.
That's
it. Yeah, that's the one. I've been exceptionally lucky to find a denarius of the rogue Emperor Carausius. And most metal detectorists will know, if they know their history, that Carausius was a self-appointed emperor of Britain. He effectively was a general, worked his way up through the ranks and became quite high up in the Roman army. And he was designated with the task of removing Frankish pirates, Saxon pirates, who were attacking Roman galleys. And allegedly, what he was doing was waiting for the pirates to raid the galley and then attacking the pirates and stealing the booty for himself. Now, as we all know, history is only written by the victors. And this is what we've been led to believe by history, by the Roman Senate, the Roman emperors who wrote this and decreed this. And obviously, whether it's true or not, I don't know. Personally, I think a lot of people believe that Carausius was actually a pretty good bloke and he had the backing of a massive Roman army. His army loved him. And obviously, in Roman times, if you command an army, you can pretty much achieve whatever you want. And I think the existing Roman emperor probably saw him as a bit of a threat, I suppose. So he said that he caused all these problems and issues and ordered his death and his execution or his assassination, whatever you want. Carausius heard of it, escaped to Britain and made himself emperor of Britain. And I think he was emperor for 4 or 5 years before they finally caught up with him and had him killed. And obviously his coinage is quite rare. And this particular one is exceptionally rare. In fact, it's so rare that they believe it's possibly the only one of its kind. With that writing around the edge. Sam Moorhead at the British Museum, I've recorded it with them, has said that he knows of 2 other silver denaries of Carausius, which has a temple on the reverse. But my legend around the edge is completely unique. And the mint mark on the back of the coin, which if Dave could flick the coin over, yeah, there you go. If you look at the bottom of the temple, it says SRS, and that is completely unique to this coin. They didn't know that mint mark had been used on this. In fact, the SRS mint mark is exceptionally rare. Carausius normally had RSR as his mint mark, and the legend on that is effectively it's a temple with Roma sat holding a scepter inside the Roman temple, and the legend reads on the reverse, Rome Eterne, which translates as Rome is eternal, or words to that effect. And on the obverse, on the head side of the coin, it reads Imp Corrosius P AVG. And yeah, in a nutshell, it's completely a new variety of denarius with that legend, and they haven't seen anything like it before, and it's exceptionally rare. So yeah, I've been very privileged to find that.
Wow, that's lovely. And you found it with your Deus, I presume?
I found it with my Deus. Oh yes, my trusty Deus, using the sonar program, slightly tweaked to suit the conditions. And I've obviously used the Deus since the beginning of time, really, since they first come out. I think I had one the very first week they came out, and I've been using it ever since. And you know, I over the years I've done a bit of field testing for XP, and I've used their machines. And you know, a lot of people know my association with Gary Blackwell. You know, we're good friends, and yeah, it's a coin that has caused quite a stir in the.
Keep sharing.
Yeah, it's caused quite a stir in the coin world because of its you know, its rarity. But as I say, the sonar program on the Deus for me is the program that I absolutely love using.
Have you had, how long have you had your Deus, the one you currently got at the moment, Gary?
Well, the current one, I still got my original controller. I've changed the stem. Obviously, it's a bit like the broom in Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah,
Trigger's broom. It's only had 4 handles and 6 heads in its life, but it's brand new. You know, yeah. No, I've obviously changed the handle and gone from the magnet to the click thing. But my actual control unit is my original control unit. Obviously, I've now used the HF coil. And that, but yeah, I just do the software updates as and when required, really, you know. And
a machine that evolves, and it's evolved well in the last 12 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those machines because of the update facility that you get given by XP. It never ever dates, does it? It never ages. You know, I hear people say, you know, the Deus has been out for 10 years. It needs to, you know, it needs to be updated. Well, I've always been why do I need to update why do I need to upgrade my Deus? And it's finding me all of this. You know, it's finding me. It's finding me.
I've just got a Deus. Had it a couple of months. I had one years ago, and I've just gone back to one again, and I forgot how much enjoyable it is. It's a lot of. Yeah, it's nice machine.
It's hassle free, isn't it? You know, and you can choose and set things up.
I think when it came out 12 years ago, it was like a 12-year-old boy getting a Commodore 64. You didn't really know what you were doing with it. But after a few months, but nowadays, with the event of how detectors aren't, I wouldn't say they are more advanced, but the interface could be more complicated if you've come from a 1977 C-scope, but the Deus interface is lovely to use, really, really nice, and it's so light. Yeah. But anyway, we could go on all night about Deus, but
I'm a technophobe. Like, you know, I'm a bit of a technophobe, and if I can, you know, as I say, I'm one of these people. I don't tend to tweak and mess about with my settings any more than what I have to. You know, I set up my Deus to how I like it. And as I said before, I love the sonar program. As far as I'm concerned, it's Gary Blackwell's best program. You know, he's created a lot of programs for the Deus, and he'll forget more than I'll ever know about it. But the one thing I'll say about the sonar program is, for me personally, and on my sites, I can use it anywhere. And I can tweak it slightly to adjust for the adjust for the conditions. If your soil's mineralized, or if you've got a lot of contamination in the soil, you know, you can tweak the sonar program, and the nucleus of the program remains the same. But it's Gaz's best program as far as I'm concerned, by far. You know, I love the hot program and just normal Deus fast, you know, factory presets. But when he brought out the sonar, took my fines rate up a notch. And and it's not very often that I would say, people who know me, I believe in you walk over it, you find it. And today's machines, pretty much, if it's there and within a certain depth and size, you're going to find it. But I was convinced, and I am convinced, that the sonar program has taken my fines rate up a notch, because it's enabled me to go onto sites that I previously thought had drained.
You predominantly use the HF coil all the time?
Yeah, it's my go-to coil pretty much all the time, unless I'm on pasture and I really am looking for depth, and I'll put the big Bertha on or the X35 11-inch on and go into me deep programs. Then pretty much it's HF coil all the way for me. I've got the elliptical and I've got the HF 9-inch, and I flip between the two if the contamination is there, And recently, my mate Steve, as I say, he's a bit of an old traditionalist, and he was using his old 11-inch coil, 15-inch coil, I think the big one, and he's recently moved over to a HF coil, and he's suddenly woken up and smelled the coffee, I think, because he's suddenly started finding a lot more than me. So.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. We're geeking off. We're detectoring off. We're geeking off. Sorry.
I can spell XP.
Yeah.
Don't get me going on with XP and Deus. I'll be here all night, lyrical.
Sorry, I asked that question. Are we having the dips from Diggers tonight, Dave?
We are. I've just checked. We've got a minute and a half before that starts. So I will. I'll share the screen. With lovely Mr. Higgins can share that, and we. Where am I? There it is. So when that comes in, we can carry on chatting around it. Luke, share screen.
Have you tried a Rutus, Gary? Alta 71.
If I'm being brutally honest, no, I haven't. I haven't. I don't really. Try that many other machines, to be fair. At the Rodney Cook, I don't really have time to go out and detect as such. I just basically get under everyone's feet.
A lot of tweaking, like you can do with the Deus, and it's got a hodograph display, which is like the XY, and it's obviously not as light and compact, but technology-wise and recovery speed and everything, I've got one. It's one of my favourite. So
you know what? It's like I said. Nowadays, when I first started detecting, you only had a very select amount of choices, and you they were heavy and abrupt, and they were quite farcical, really, with certain areas and things, and. The technology, like anything, is get smaller and lighter and easier, and now any machine that you buy pretty much today, if you go onto the right site, is going to find you stuff. You can find Roman coins with £150 metal detector.
I'm going to have to interject, I'm afraid, chaps, because the draw started and we have 34 entrants. So Gary, a number between 1 and 34.
Oh, 1 and 34. 19.
Adrian.
36.
24.
I said 36 because I'm admin. Yeah. 1.
7. 6. Which is Golden Graham, and that'll be Mr. Stokes again. He's won Britain's first coins book.
Good book,
I've actually got one alongside me here.
Yeah.
Gary, second number, please.
4.
Adrian?
23.
12.
Cleaning pencil prize. I used mine at the weekend, Dave, on a messy old Roman. Oh, cracking. absolutely. I love it.
Is that the composite pencil?
That's the one.
Yeah, I need to get hold of him because he was going to come to the rally last time, and obviously it got cancelled, and I would like him to come back.
Number 31, All That Glitters. Well done, you've won the cleaning pencil. I'll put you in communication with him. I'm not sure if he's still in America. He's been working out America the last couple of weeks, but he should be home sooner rather than later. I'm sure he'll pop along, no problem.
Yeah.
Good number, Gary.
13, unlucky for some.
Adrian.
19.
6. Oh, could be Adrian. Could be Gary.
History Revisited. Yes, he's had a question.
Number 19, Adrian. Scotty B. Entry into any draw. So congratulations to all tonight's winners. Britain's first coins book by Golden Graham Stokes. Cleaningpencil.com, cleaning pencil for all that glitters, and an entry into any draw for Scotty B. Thank you as ever to Chris and the team from Diggers Dips. There you go. I'm done for another week. I'm going to just text Graham Dempsey, or I will forget otherwise.
Yeah.
So
I remember talking.
Talk technology.
Yeah,
Harry,
I remember.
Got a question.
Yeah,
I briefly answered it, but History Revisited. Is the HF coil good for small high conductors in iron-infested sites?
Oh, unbelievably!
I'll let you answer it.
Unbelievably, yes. Yeah, without a question. Turn the frequency up to around about 28 kilohertz. If you've got a remote and you're capable, you can do that. Turn it up to 28 kilohertz. And well, you can do that with the headphones as well now. What am I talking about? 28 kilohertz. You can go up to 50. And turn the reactivity up as high as you can manage it, and slow down your swing, and use, if you're just using factory presets, then use Deus Fast, because obviously that's got a quicker recovery speed. And if you're in an iron contaminated area, slow down your swing and listen for the tweaks. If you're lucky enough to have a elliptical coil and you're in a very small area, get the elliptical coil right up into the 50s and 60s kilohertz, and again listen for the small tweaks. And when they brought out the elliptical coil, I did a piece on it with Gary, and we were on it in a really, really bad site of mine that is ridiculously contaminated with iron and nails and everything else. And we went on there with the elliptical and the 9-inch HF coil, and we were pulling out small Roman coins, cut quarters, and bits and pieces in this area. And the site itself produces a lot, but this one particular area we think might have been contaminated as a Victorian rubbish dump or something, and it just completely filled the area with crap. And the HF coil, the elliptical and the HF coil were awesome in amongst that. You know, as I say,
the elliptical coil can go up a higher frequency.
78, I think.
Yes,
yeah, 80 kilohertz. So you can really, that's once the thing is, the elliptical is best used when you're trying to find the bits that you've missed with the previous coils, and it can get you in amongst the iron, get you in amongst the mineralization, get you in amongst all of the bits and pieces, the hot rocks, and the coke and everything else. And the most important thing is get that reactivity up a little bit, get the frequency up, because you're then looking for the small targets in amongst the iron. And the most important thing is don't go hell for leather. Just gently sweep and give the coil, and the recovery of the Deus is second to none anyway. So if you add that with your frequency and your recovery, you're on a win-win situation in the iron. But the most important thing is to just slow your swing down and listen for those little tweaks. And that's what I was saying about the sonar program, you see, because the sonar program has the tones set at a notch up. So you have a tone break, and you also then have the tone, one of the high tones set in the 800s. And if you use the Deus, that's like a real high pitched tweak. But that is the beauty of the sonar, because it can give you that little noise that you're listening for, and as you're swinging, you think, oh, there was something in there. Go back, and then narrow your search down, and then you're So
I agree with that. Yeah, totally. That's what I've literally got the last month or so to do a site specifically for that, and it's working. It's working well. I found. Did you see that dog I found at the weekend, Dave?
I can spell XP.
I found a
He's
little
gone all
Roman
glazed.
dog.
Look, his eyes have gone.
I found a little Roman dog with a dais on the site, and mate
The
found
dog had a dais.
rock me. No, I went out with the dais on a really.
It's called Rock Me, and it had a dais.
Yeah,
Rock me out of the dais.
But
Falco. That was done by Falco.
That is correct. Yeah, well done. Yeah. What's his name died this week? The bloke 501 advert.
Oh yes,
Nick Kamen.
Nick Kamen.
Yeah,
59, wasn't he?
And today it was announced. Remember the black fella? I think he was called Felix from the James Bond films. Big fella. He was also in Batteries Not Included.
Oh right, yeah.
He died today.
The James Bond film. That's not the one when he blew up. It was like a balloon.
Yeah.
He
was quite old anyway. He was quite old anyway.
So he still died.
That was the one about the voodoo, wasn't it? And there's one. Yeah, one of the hoods.
Are you upset about that, Dave?
I think Gary can spell XP now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you've done the Jedi mind trick on me, haven't you? That's what you've done.
Oh yeah, May the 4th this week, wasn't it? Yeah, May the 4th.
And Revenge of the 5th.
Oh yeah, Revenge of the Blimey.
I didn't know.
And what is it on Saturday? Motorhead Day.
What shop? Oh,
Motorhead
Day.
The 8th of May.
Oh, the 8th.
Your change the subject back again. Your dog, was it like a little statuette dog, like one of their little? They used to. It's my mate Steve found one once, and it was a Roman.
Someone said that they found a similar one in Essex where I found it. So it was. You probably won't see this with the green screen. No.
What you put your hand behind your phone for?
It was on the Trish. You can't see it, can you? It was on the.
It's just my mate Steve found like a little dog statuette, and it ended up to be Roman.
Look, Adrian, there's my hand.
If Steve's listening tonight, Steve, go and get a picture up of your.
Oh, they are, Gary.
Oh yeah. No. Steve's was actually a.
Oh no, it's not. It's about that big, by about that high, but. Julian Evan Hart had a look at it, but some people are saying it's a pipe tamper. There's a lot of different things, but I don't know what it is. When you find an animal, something like that, and right next to it, my mate found a silver denarius and a Roman key as well.
Yeah. So, I found a Roman eagle statue, a Roman, if only small one. They think it was on top of a staff.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't know what it was on top of. And I get frustrated. I've got finds identified 1 and 2.
Steve just put there, I would, but how? He's obviously listening to me talking about this little Roman dog.
Dave, have you got the fax number so you can fax it over to us? Or is it off? Is it the fax machine? Steve Merkel's got a picture.
Fax machine.
Yeah, you've got one behind you. You keep sending me faxes every day.
What if he posted a picture up on Facebook? What if he posted a picture up on Facebook of it? Could you download it from that?
Yeah. Did he post it on the Treasure Hunting magazine website? Because anyway, I'll move on. But the dais was really good for me on this permission. And it's funny because there's a dump on it as well. There's a Victorian dump and a World War II dump. So there's a lot of fuses from bombs. And
I'm sorry, I just saw another comment come up there from Neil. He always says that we in Steve detect on museums. He just put up on there about his. He always says because we're always finding quite a lot. We got good lad. He always says we just detect in museums. We don't actually tell anybody about it.
No, it sounds like Sorry. Hair looks nice tonight, Dave.
Thanks. I've done nothing to it.
Using Timotei?
No.
Oh.
Water. Vosine.
Oh,
Original
hey.
Vosine.
Oh, I've just had Graham Dempsey message me.
Marvellous. I did. He did text me back and said...
modern technology, innit? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I texted him. He said he's still in America. He's waiting to have his COVID test so he can come
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just happened to randomly mention it on the show. Now he's messaged me about
That's because I messaged him to tell him. And it's 4:20 in the afternoon there at the moment. Not sure where he is in America. I know he met up with one of the companies who he exports the pencil to in America. I know he spent some time with him over the past couple of weeks.
All right.
They might have even got to play in American soil as well.
Oh, going back to zoomorphic stuff, you were putting out some of the pictures of my recent finds. There is actually an antelope brooch on there. Very crude one. I forgot about that. If we were talking about zoomorphic finds, that again was with Mr. Murray.
That one.
That's it. Yeah. When I first found that, I just thought it was really cold day and it was wet, and I thought I'd just put it in my finds bag. Didn't think anything of it. Then when I washed it and had a look at it, and Steve was round doing some electrics on the house, and he looked at it and he said, "That looks like a brooch." And then you got a catch plate on it in there, and when you actually look at it, you can see it. It's an actual, almost like a deer or antelope type brooch, and the head and the body. It's that's exactly it is. And I've looked it up, and apparently that's what it is. So at the time of finding it, I just thought it was a bit of twisted metal. What do I know? And Steve takes the credit for that, because if I said I did it, he'd only put something up on there. So I actually noticed it was I thought it was like a jaw handle, Victorian jaw handle, and Steve actually pointed out that it was a Celtic brooch or Roman brooch, not too sure. But yeah, don't find that many zoomorphic brooches where we live. We get a lot of Roman finds, a lot of Roman brooches, but we don't tend to have an awful lot of zoomorphic stuff, which is something that we lack. But I'd love to find one of those Roman hair brooches, you know.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful things.
Definitely. It will come.
Fingers crossed. I can't complain at the moment. Anyway, I've done all right recently, so I'm not.
Do you get out detecting much, Gary? Like every weekend or every other weekend? Or?
Well, I've just given Lisa a new kitchen, so yeah, I'm going to be able to use as many brownie points as I can at the moment. Get out. So hopefully, I'm out this weekend as well. Going up to Lincoln with meeting up with a few boys. And we're staying in, obviously, you know, in B&Bs and rule of six and in whatever. But obviously you're allowed to now. Lisa's on there as well. Yeah. She just needs to mention to her about her kitchen. Bloody thing costing me a fortune.
I've just had my bathroom done, so I'm hoping to get out more a bit as well. Well, I haven't had it done; it's currently being done. So
you just got to earn the brownie points, but that's what you got to do. If you earn the brownie points, you're allowed out.
Yeah, and
the great thing about me is have a wife who's really into Grand Prix, because she kicks you out on a Sunday.
That's my problem. I like Formula One, so I struggle with detecting and Formula One, although it's not as good as it used to be. But I like Formula One. Who's your wife follow?
Oh, she's a Lewis fan.
Oh,
because he's English. So yeah, I did take her to the Grand Prix a 3 or 4 years ago. We went when he.
I used to race Formula 2.
Oh, you get.
I used to have a scale electric.
Yeah, Lewis is a good friend. I see him every now and again. He's a good bloke, good mate of mine.
Yeah,
sorry, I just woke up. No, I've never driven Formula One cars in my life. And I
was going to say, if you had, you and Lisa wouldn't leave you alone all weekend, mate.
No.
Rally.
But I would much prefer being in the field on a Sunday than sitting in front of the TV. So I do get out detecting. David, have you been out?
I'm the whole Formula One thing I don't get because it's watching like cars go around the laps. Like that.
No, it's
gone
tactical.
It's gone around again. It's gone around again.
No, it's tactical. It's a bit like programs on your detector. You got to get the right settings and the right things, like tyres and fuel.
Don't know what you're on about here now, mate. Spell XP.
Yeah, Dave. When are you going out? Have you been out lately, or?
No, I haven't. Back at work's just befuddled me greatly, and obviously. Due to the hours that we're going to be working, I'll be getting Fridays to go and play as of tomorrow, but I'm not in anyway. So,
I managed to get out a couple of times, more than that really. But as I say, with all the restrictions that have been going on, you're sort of limited to who you can go out with. But obviously now you're allowed to meet up with a certain amount of people outside and everything else. So me and a couple of others. Mates of mine, we're going up to Lincoln and we're meeting up with Sid Perry and Phil Fraggle, we usually have what we call the Jolly Boys Weekenders, and we do it a couple of times a year if we can, and obviously COVID restrictions allowing, obviously we do it all by the book, but so we're allowed to sort of go up, and as long as you travel separately or whatever you do now, we're meeting up there and at the weekend, and we've got a site up there that we use. The farmers have got B&Bs and whatever we to stay at nearby, and we just do some metal detecting and have a bit of a social distancing drink together sort of thing.
I'll tell you what, it's so good being able to, with Detectival and Rodney Cook, meet. Like the last time I met you, Dave, was what, 2019?
Detectival, yeah.
Detectival. That's the last time I saw you. Tony Kaywood as well.
Yeah.
Just not physically hugged, like bear hugged. You haven't bear hugged.
Oh, mate.
Luke,
don't say that to me because you'll get squished next time I see you now.
I know I will.
And me tongue down your ear or something.
Like remind me to keep well away from that. Rodney Cook, the dad's rally.
Yeah.
Oh, so, Steve's posted the dog photo he's just put up.
Oh, thank you. I'll have a look.
Well, listen, Gary, is there anything else you want to add? Anything to point people towards, etc., etc.?
What you mean as in regards to the rally?
Yeah.
Yeah, come and support us, obviously. As I say, we're starting to sort of look at numbers now and think, we're starting to run out. I don't want to keep reiterating the same message, but if you are seriously thinking about coming, don't just keep thinking about it. Get yourself booked on because you might be disappointed. Obviously, I want to mention again, if people haven't told us already what their plans are, please let us know as soon as you can. And you won't be disappointed with the site this year. We've got an amazing location, bit of a coup, as I say, to get this one. And if you are coming and you're not camping, get yourself booked into the local hotels around Marlborough. That's all I can say. I'm not giving you any more information than that. If you can find a hotel within a 10-mile radius of Marlborough, you're close to the rally. So I know that the Premier Inn in Marlborough is already fully booked. I've been told it's been booked out already, and I think 80% of the people staying at the Premier Inn are going to that rally. So
mud carpets.
You can imagine it, can't you? All these people traipsing in, especially if you get. Well, I'm not going to say rain because I don't want to put the kiss of death on it. But yeah, it would piss a few. Sorry for swearing. Piss a few managers off at the Premier Inn.
So you've got obviously a Facebook page for the Rodney Cook. The all the information will be on there. And Luke, if you could just throw up again the email address to get in contact with the team at Rodney Cook as well. And,
charity detecting event at hotmail.com. for all correspondence, really, even if you've got a question or you want to ask a question about the rally. But effectively, all the questions will be fully answered when we know 100%. At the moment, the rally's going ahead. At the moment, everything's booked. We've got the marquee, we've got the band, we've got all the food caterers, we've got the traders coming, as I said before. We've got leisure promotions and Regdens and XP will be there, Garrett will be there. Any of the other manufacturers who want to come can come. It's like I've said, we don't have any restrictions at the Rodney Cook. And like I mentioned before, we don't have sponsors, we have supporters, and anyone's welcome. Graham Dempsey from the Cleaning Pencil now, he's obviously still wants to come. So if you're out there, Treasure Hunting Magazine, Searcher Magazine will be there. Anyone else, obviously the people from the charities will be there as well. The people from the Royal United Hospital, all the cancer care units and places like that, all those will be there supporting us. You've got to remember, a lot of the people who man a lot of those are cancer sufferers themselves. They some of them have unfortunately terminal cancer, bless their lives. So, and they still come to support the rally, and so it's all systems go. And as I say, the landowner is still 100% behind us. He's adamant that he wants to have an event on his land whenever it can go ahead or whatever, looking at it, it's going to be this year. I'm going to be positive. And he's determined that it's going to happen. And the only thing really that we've got left to sort out is we haven't 100% sorted out the camping field yet, where we're actually going to put it, because we've got to weigh a few options up. So, but Dave, the master technician, will have it all sorted for you by the time you arrive in September. Because he's, not many people realise, but Dave Crisp, who found the Froome Hoard, Dave Crisp, the largest pot of single Roman coins ever found in the UK, Dave Crisp, he is the rally coordinator. He is ex-army and he plans everything to a military operation. And during the weekend, what Dave says goes. He is the boss. He points us all in the right direction. He tells us what we got to do, and we all get on with it. And he's the one you saw in that video at the end, chatting with me and the landowner. Dave is a brilliant bloke. That's all I can say about Dave. Without him, I'd be treading water. I really would, because he knows. He just plans everything to such a fine detail that the rest of us, like Steve and Gordon and Paul and John and Ivy and Alan and another Alan, all of us who work together at the run. He coordinates.
It's excellent stuff. It's really good, isn't it, Dave?
It certainly is. Right, Gary, it's time for us to depart, sadly. We could go on all night. We've got a couple of commercials left, couple of adverts left. Commercials? How old am I? And also the viewers find, which sadly will be done in silence tonight because of a copyright claim against us, or against me already. And we don't want Luke's channel to suffer. So I'm going to sort out some uncopyrighted music for future shows.
We could sing.
Anyway, I can't. I'm too tired. I want to go to.
I don't understand why people get like that. At the end of the day, you're advertising their songs and aren't you? It can only be a good thing for people to play.
Yeah, but you'd say that, but people want money for you playing it. So anyway, next week, thanks, Gary, obviously, again, as ever. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you to everybody for coming and watching the show tonight and those who shared it. Next week, we have Daryl Halter from Heritage Sussex on the show. And we're already starting to sort out the June and July episodes as well. We had one of our recent guests has contact me today asking to come back on the show, as he's started to packing a lot of boxes, and he wants to do a show about certain finds, which we're more than happy to have him on the show. So thank you to Luke and to Adrian and to Gary. I hope you all have a delightful week finding lots of nice things. Don't forget to share your finds on the Big Detecting Show Facebook group, and we will add them to next week's Readers' Finds. So without further ado, good night all, and Luke, run VT, number 1. Finds la 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 from Mark McMullen on his library button, tra la 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 la, do and more from Mark McMullen, and then we're going on to Cy and Chris Weller, all the lovely finds. That looks like a bear trap, and don't know what that one is. More in there as well, and some buckles and coins and a button and some more button and something else over there. Association D Association de Detective Aficionados Sierra de Guadarrama. What?
No.
No, you have to read what you read. What the bottom says. Then what's the bottom say?
Association de Detective Sierra.
No. Start again because you missed off the second word. Then
he spelt it wrong. That's nice.
Association de Detective Aficionados Sierra de Guadarrama.
That's interesting.
It is, isn't it? It's nice, that one.
Looks like Dart End.
Sky and Ian. Sky, one of our younger viewers, and a Dad's Finds.
Look. Nice.
Jason Jones. Now, this is that coin that we've got an article that's gone up today. It's a King Stephen penny. A very rare one. It's the second type he's had. Nice. Beautiful coin. Look at this one. This is fantastic. A seal from Marius Siapluk. Check this one now. Look at that.
I've got to get some of that wax. Oh, that's nice. I found one of those. No, William III I found.
Look at that. Masonic brooch. This image and more of Rod Hands, they're going up, I think, Monday night. But thank you to all those who submitted your finds. Adrian, play.